now by Senator John Cornyn of Texas. I know that a number of hurricanes have hit Texas over the years, so he'll be standing ready to help Senators Rubio and Scott as the need arises. Senator Cornyn, am I right about that?
Absolutely, Hugh.
Let me turn then to the immigration story. I had Mike Shear on earlier this morning. He's a friend of mine. I went through the story with him, and I talked to him about my problems with it. My biggest problem is this line. In some communities where jobs are going unfilled, people have welcomed the influx of migrants looking for work. There is no community cited. You are from a border state. This is the great line on the left now. You saw it on the Sunday shows. Oh, we have a labor shortage. An open southern border is helping us. Is that true? And if so, which communities are applauding the arrival of undocumented migrants?
Well, first of all, legal immigration, I think, has been one of the keys to American prosperity and to keep our country growing and remain the kind of place where people do want to come and pursue their dreams. Illegal immigration is a disaster because it's completely uncontrolled. You have a hodgepodge of people who range from asylum seekers to economic migrants to drug runners to criminals, and they don't really differentiate. The Biden administration with their open borders policy. They admit there's a problem with our asylum system, but they actually propose to make it worse. They propose to expedite the entry of migrants into the United States, place them into the interior. Under the law, they are not authorized to work, even if they're awaiting their asylum court date, which may be years off. But that's a completely backward approach. Because we have labor shortages, increasing illegal immigration is not the answer.
And Michael, accept it as fair, my critique. Look, if you're going to say that, hey, this is the answer to our labor problems, and some communities are labor shortages, and some communities are welcoming undocumented migrants, you've got to name the communities, and he didn't name any, and he admitted that's fair. I just think this is a narrative that, oh, don't worry about immigration, it's going to save us. You know, we got people shortages everywhere, which are a complicated combination of the impact of COVID relief plus inflation, but it's not going to be solved by an open southern border, Senator.
Absolutely. And, one thing the left does not acknowledge is the same open borders that allowed 2.3 million people to enter our country last year allowed the drugs that killed 108,000 Americans, including 71,000 overdose deaths as a result of fentanyl poisoning. And these are distributed by the street gangs that vie for territory and market share and who are responsible for much of the crime and gun violence in places like Chicago and elsewhere.
So my last question.
Their view is very, very, very selective.
This is an article, the headline at least, of which Michael didn't write, is a cheerleading article for Joe Biden. About small changes go a long way. It's about 99 people who since May have completed the asylum merits interview. At the back of it, at the very end of it, the backlog in the immigration court system is 1.9 million pending cases. About 750,000 of those are asylum cases that have been pending 5 years or longer. Why in the world is the New York Times writing about 99 cases heard in June, July, and August? It's insane.
It is. And Hugh, one question I think needs to also be asked. There's because of the way that unaccompanied children are handled under our law, they're placed with sponsors in the interior of the United States. Ask the Biden administration if they know where those children are today or what's happened to them. And I bet they will tell you they don't know because they do not follow up. And they don't know whether they've been forced into labor or sex trafficked or recruited into gangs or neglected or abused. It's a disaster.
We need Herschel to win, Dr. Oz, J.D. Vance. We need Adam Laxalt in Nevada and Blake Masters in Arizona and Tiffany Smiley in Washington State, and especially Joe O'Dea in Colorado, because we need the committees back, Senator.
Absolutely.
We got to ask these questions.
Absolutely. We need to do rigorous oversight of the Biden administration because they're, frankly, this is a prime example. They are out of control. And Secretary Mayorkas says the border's secure. He knows that's false. He admits in that same article that we've been talking about that the asylum system's broken and requires legislation, but the Biden administration has refused to engage with people like me and Senator Sinema on our Bipartisan Border Solutions Act, which would be a modest step in the right direction.
Senator John Cornyn, always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for joining me in a timely fashion.